here. I'm here. Oh, hello. Yes, I'm here. I'm operating this monster of machine. Can you see that? Doesn't it remind you of a dinosaur? Look at that. Look at this. It's amazing, isn't it? Now, where am I? Well, I told you, Australia is big. Everything is big. Now, we had the big trains, the big trucks, the big farming. Remember the big tub? Now look at these big excavators. And where we are, we're in a place where they take all sorts of rubbish, like rubble and stuff, and they make out of that some useful products. But let's have a look at a little history about our rubbish, starting from the ancient times. Anna Sebo has a report.
Ever since ancient times, waste has been a big problem. While digging for the subway in Athens some 2 decades ago, excavators dug below the earth and tipped the bottom of ancient wells. Subsequently, 2,500-year-old household and construction waste came tumbling out. The ancients were using their old dried up wells as their tips. In modern times, countries around the world, to their shame, have soured beautiful landscapes with dumped demolition rubbish that councils were at a loss for what to do with. Fortunately, Aussie ingenuity has been at the forefront of the solution revolution, and Harry is at Metropolitan Demolitions and Recycling to tell us more.
But let me put this down and I'll show you the rest of the plan in here. Now here in Australia, one thing that we have to remember is that they're very strict, and I think that they're pretty right about safety. And of course, one thing is safety hats, like this one here. Now, remember, even if you get out of this machine, you have to wear this. So I have to wear this to get out, and also have to wear it to go up to the place at the top of the plant. So I'll see you up there. We are at the recycling plant of Metropolitan Demolition and Recycling. And where I am now, it's where all the rubble, all the concrete, all the brick, all the tiles come to be crushed. Imagine big pieces of concrete like this, even bigger. They go into this machine in here and they all just get crushed. Now this one here, it's called the jaw crusher. The jaw crusher, it works like our jaws. Now look at the video and see why they call it the jaw crusher. It does work like a jaw. In last week's episode, we brought you a story from recycled timbers, and we show you how they make these great timbers out of telegraph poles. I have with me Paul. Now, Paul worked at this factory for a very long time, and he's got some great stories to tell us, but one of the best ones is about this timber here.
This particular piece of timber that we got here now in front of us was donated to us from Mount Toma. It was hit by lightning, and the people up there did not want the tree to be wasted, so they asked us if we could come up and have a look at it, which we did, and we brought it back here to the mill. We cut it into 3 pieces to transport it down. We brought it into the mill and started slabbing it. You can see the slabs here. The tree was approximately 1400 millimetres in diameter, and we started slabbing it down to a 600 mil heartwood, and once we got a 600 by 600 square heartwood, we then planked some of the other timbers, and this is some of the planking. We've got some more here. The heart wood itself, which was come off the longer one of the bottom sections. It's around about 6.5 metres long. Was donated to the Royal Prince Alfred Hospital for a seat. This is a sequoia, or called an American redwood. It is a very, very light wood when dried. It is a softwood. It is very similar to a Oregon in grain and structure.
But Paul, this is an American tree. What's an American tree has to do with Australia?
That's a very hard question to answer. This tree would have been possibly planted maybe 100, 150 years ago. And how it got here, why it got here, I wouldn't have any idea. As far as I know, this is the only one, but I wouldn't say it was the only one. This is the only one that I know of.
So Paul, what sort of uses would you have from pieces like this? That some of them, you said they'd probably be, what, 1.5 meters wide?
You could possibly use it for decorative furniture. It's not really a structural timber, you know, that you could use for in building of any structures, of course. But I would be using it more for building fine furniture. You know, these larger slabs here, which would make beautiful bench tops, absolutely beautiful bench tops once they were polished.
Now, this is Australia. This is Australia for me. I love this place. I could be sitting here day after day, just watch these machines. The excavator loading up the crusher with this huge piece of concrete. The crusher that mulches everything up, and then the screens. These are actually the screens that separate the material into many different products, from aggregates to road base to many, many different materials. And this is what I love. This is the beauty about it. And I wish that in some other countries around the world, instead of just dumping their rubbish just anywhere, like I've seen it in Italy, I've seen it in Greece, I've seen it in Cyprus, I've seen it all around Europe, everywhere I've gone, I've seen rubbish everywhere. These beautiful landscapes, all littered with rubbish. But here in Australia, we have a very good system. And here at Metropolitan Demolition, we can see it at work. This amazing equipment here that keeps Australia beautiful and clean. But from one solution of the recycling of the concrete and the bricks and the rubble, we go to the next solution, which is reuse. Let's have a look at the story with Anna Seville.
And Metropolitan Demolitions and Recycling are also at the forefront of reusing. Here before me are timbers that would normally be thrown into landfill, left to rot amongst putrid waste that are now being given new life, to be turned into tables and beautiful artisan works. Many of these timbers will actually go back into restoring existing buildings and could even be used to restore the Curlew. Let's go to Harry now and find out just what did happen to Australia's oldest serving ferry.
Once upon a time, a sprightly ferry named Curlew used to dock here. But time has taken its toll on this once sprightly ferry, and sadly she has sunk.
Well, fortunately it hasn't worked out. The guys just worked out on me. I just got to try to do it, but I don't think it's going to work, but at least I can say that I did give it a go. I've done what I could for tonight. This is the last chance that Curlew has to survive. If this doesn't work, tomorrow morning the crane is coming to pick it up to go to the tip. Today is D-Day for Curlew. In a few seconds, I will know if she made it. I left her overnight last night, and I just waited all night, come back now to see if she decided to float again and live for another 100 years. Wow! She's up! This is it. We've done it. Oh my God, look. I got goosebumps. I don't believe it. She's there. She's up. Thank you. Wow! Unbelievable. I just still don't believe it. It's an incredible story and the best Australian day of my life. But you know what? There's a lot of work to be done in there now. There's holes everywhere. She's leaking from everywhere. Lots of wounds there to be fixed, and I have to get into it very, very quickly and start fixing those holes before the last of the pumps just give up on us again. So yeah, sorry, I gotta go to change and start working. So we're now inside the Curlew. You can see the mess. Once the boat goes down, the mess is just incredible. There's a lot of work now to get this boat fixed up. There's holes everywhere, the boat is leaking all over the place. We're gonna have to fix all the leaks. We'll just use some cotton material for now and a screwdriver. I got a few holes fixed up over there. Now we've got another one over here. And this is not too bad actually. It's only a very small one. But you can see it over here. Again, I just use some cotton. Okay. This is the last one of the holes. It will do for now. It's not leaking, but you can't leave it for too long. This is the day after Australia Day. It's a big day for us because we managed to save our history. 90 years of service, you just don't destroy it. I think that we have to try to talk to the maritime and our services, the public services, and try to make them understand that they can't put us in a lot of pressure when it comes to historic gems like the Curlew. We have to save our maritime heritage. So Curlew is floating again. It's unbelievable. We've done it. But now we have to think of the next problem, and we have to find a solution for the next problem. And of course the next problem is how we're going to get it out of there and into dry land so we can work on her. Our next stop to our mission to save the Curlew brings us here in the beautiful Sanctuary Cove and at the Sanctuary Cove Boat Show. There's beautiful, amazing boats around here everywhere, but of course, new generation boats, nothing like the Curlew. But we're here because of the Curlew, and we're gonna meet someone special here at the Sanctuary Cove that had to do a lot with the Curlew. Let's go and meet up.
Other reusables here at Metropolitan include roofing materials, windows, doors, and these sandstock bricks that were made by hand by convicts some 150 years ago. So for your next renovation or rebuild, come down to Metropolitan Demolitions and Recycling, upcycle and save yourself a bundle.
Right through the plant here at Metropolitan Demolitions and Recycling, we see sprinklers everywhere. And of course, we're in the middle of the city at St. Peter's of Sydney. Remember 576 Princess Highway? This is where they got all the timbers and all the other reusable materials. And here on 396, just behind Hungry Jack's, you can come and buy all your products for your roadworks or whatever else you need. And you can come and tip your rubble as well. One of the most fascinating things for me, it's this plant in here in front of me. And this is because, again, the Metropolitan innovation came to fruition here as well with this incredible machine. Now, you could buy one of these things pretty much ready, but no, Paul, one of the four brothers, he had a different idea. One of his excavators, it was too old, he couldn't use it anymore, but he actually recycled the machine in order to build this. If you have a look at the back, there's still the sign, Caterpillar, from the excavator. It doesn't look like an excavator anymore. It's called a stacker. It's a machine that stacks the material up into a big, huge heap. Now, if you have a look down the bottom there, you can actually see the bases where the trucks, the Caterpillar trucks were, and he used a turntable in order for the stacker to move from the left to the right. Again, this is all about reuse and recycling. And I think these guys coming to Australia from a very poor island of Calymnos, I think that they are bringing of just use and recycle as much as they can. It's still with them even today, that maybe they don't need to reuse and recycle anymore, but they still do it. And I know that go out of the way in order to still reuse and recycle. So, anything you need, don't forget to come and visit Metropolitan Demolitions for all your needs for recycled materials, plus road base and other things. Let's go to our next story. Our next story is about Australian-made products. Remember, we use as much as we can Australian-made products. And one thing that I saw here in Metropolitan Demolitions is that a lot of these people here, they actually wear Rossi boots. And Paul said to me that we make sure that we buy Australian-made, whatever we can. And congratulations to the guys because they support the Australian products. Now, don't forget to visit the sites, buy Australian-made, and you can find a lot of Australian-made products in there, and also Australian-made with the triangle with the green and yellow kangaroo. Remember, those things are very important. Go to the websites, you can order a lot of things online now, so go and have a look, check it all out. It's a very good idea. But let's go to our next story, and this story is about something very unique, something that we use every day here on our filming. And it's an Australian-made product, but it's well known all around the world.
Now, over my right-hand shoulder here, guys, is your typical Australian weekend. It's beach, sand, and if you go just over the sand dunes there, it's actually surf. So it's something for the whole family. Dad's out paddling the surfboard, mum's here with the kids, having a fish and a bit of a swim. That's Australia. Now, when we look at Australian products, I'll tell you, you don't have to look much further than the crew and the set which we film My Australia with. And we're here with our sound engineer, Alberto. Now, Alberto, you're telling us as we were filming here today about the Rhodes microphone. They're actually Australian made and produced right here, all Australian product. So Alberto, tell us about this microphone you're using, mate.
It's a very, very nice microphone, Australian made, Australian owned company, very clear sound. Help me out with this.
Yes. So, when you've got a European guy that's travelled the world working in this industry, he comes down under and finds Rhodes microphone and finds them one of the best in the world.
Well, it's not a great discovery. It's everyone uses Rhodes microphone in the industry all over the world. So I'm pretty happy with my microphone.
World renowned.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, there you have it, guys. Australian made, Australian owned, and again, known across the world. That's what we love to do in Australia. We love to produce the best. So when you want the best, forget the rest.
We are now at the end of the plant at Metropolitan Demolitions and Recycling. And down here on my left, we can see a pack mill. Basically, that is something that is quite unique in the industry, and it stabilizes this road base with concrete. Something unique to be able to do that with recycled concrete. And Metropolitan managed to get that done as well, which is really good. Down here you can see the different bays with all the different products. that are made out of this rubbish, out of this recycled concrete, out of these bricks and tiles and all the rubbish that we saw at the beginning. Now look at that. In there you can find all the aggregates that you need in the industry, from the very small size to the biggest size, plus all the types of road base, from DGB20 to DGB40, etc., etc. It's getting a bit technical, I know, but the thing is, it is amazing that out of the rubbish, out of the real rubbish that we used to throw to the landfill many years ago, and we used to mine our beautiful landscapes in Australia to get this material out of the mountains. Now we have plants like this all around Australia, and we are making these great products out of rubbish. Now this is Australia. This is why I love Australia. And remember, if you want to find out more information about these products that they're for sale, like the logs and the timbers that we saw in last week's episode about the timbers made out of telegraph poles, you can visit our website, metroreusables.com.au. And if you want to have a look at some of the older stories of our program, This is Australia, just visit our website, thisisaustralia.com.au. And if you have any good stories about reuse and recycling, or if you have found some amazing solutions to problems, don't forget to email us or ring us on the number and email you see now on your screens. That was the end of our episode. Thank you for watching. See you next week. See you next week. I'm just going to spend the rest of the day watching this amazing equipment. See you next week.